How to test when your battery is completely full. Use a space heater. So the first question is, how will I connect my Renogy inverter that I'm going to use for charging from my van? How will I connect the ground? Because I clearly shouldn't use the posts next to the CCP. Some people pointed out these posts. It's a little unclear which one is the right one. And honestly, they're very difficult to reach with a very gigantic cable. So what I ended up doing instead is I routed my negative to one of the battery terminals. Not a direct battery terminal, but something within the battery enclosure that looks like it probably was designed for this, but can't say for sure. So I ended up routing the negative for the Renogy inverter to that. I am pointing out that cable is much higher than my cable, and I didn't put that cable in, so I'm pretty sure it'll be safe. So if you watched my previous video, yes, I do own a socket set, and I'm so sorry that was so difficult to watch last time. This is a lot easier, I gotta say. Anyways, I won't make you watch all this. The bottom line is I'm going to connect the negative from the Renogy 2000 watt inverter to this pole under the seat where all the batteries are located. I have two batteries, two alternators. You can see the positive red cable is still connected to the CCP2 connector, which is at 175. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I lost a nut, and there was no way in hell I was going to take the whole thing apart. Next up is the actual ground wire for the Renogy 2000. It's a separate wire. My understanding is that the ground is more related to the AC output. So I have a large negative DC input, and then I have a ground wire for the AC on the all off the 2000 watt inverter. So there's the DC input for the 2000, and there's my ground wire, which isn't connected yet, but it goes to that little connector right there, which is actually the ground to the Renogy inverter. I'm using this inverter to allow charging while the vehicle is running from that positive CCP2 connector. And I've got the DC coming into the inverter, and I'm routing through both a fuse and a circuit breaker, which sounds like overkill, but I want the circuit breaker to be able to turn it off, and I want the fuse just because it's a little faster. And then I've got the AC that comes out the other side of this inverter, which I will then run to my AC200L battery station. So here's my AC200L. You can see that ginormous cable there. It actually connects the B300K expansion battery below it. So that cable right there on the left that I'm pointing at is the AC input cable. The inverter for the AC200L, the input inverter, is actually built into it. You don't have a separate box. That's the B300K connection, that Mondo cable right there. I created this frame, which you can kind of hear in the background me saying. I created this frame out of 2x4s with reinforced steel, and it's connected to the C-bolt. There's actually a bolt hole in the transit cargo vans that's right above the wheel well. It's a 7/16 bolt. It is very heavy duty in a very heavy duty area. So I built this frame. It's also connected to the bed frame, and it basically provides a cage to both the B300K as well as the AC200L. And that AC cable goes all the way back to the Renogy 2000W, 2000 watt. I sounded stupid just then. Which is basically charging while I drive. There's a little cracking there. I might have to do something about that. But that actually is a full 2x4 there that actually has a little cutout. Okay, ignore the gray cables for a second. The red cables are, of course, the DC input to the Renogy 2000 inverter, which I'm using to charge my AC200L battery system. You can see I have a fuse and a circuit breaker both on the positive path. The negative path is connected to a connector under the battery or under the driver's seat. From this point, you can see the AC cable coming out of the back of the Renogy 2000. That goes to the connector on the back or on the side of the AC200 where AC input is allowed. So moving back to the AC200 again, you can see I've got a lot of connections on there. That connection on the bottom left, or actually on the bottom of the screen just below the cigarette lighter adapter, that connects to the D40, the Bluetti D40, which provides DC to the rest of my cabin. The cigarette lighter I'm actually using for my refrigerator. I'm not crazy about cigarette lighter attachments because they tend to pop out sometimes. Haven't decided if I'm going to do anything about that. That box right there is my AC box. There are two Romexes coming out of it. One goes to the driver's side. The other one goes to the passenger side. And the Romex actually terminates on outlet boxes in those locations. So I'm using a double gang junction box for the AC. The D40 is my 12 volt DC adapter essentially for the AC200. Don't ask me why they did it this way, but this is what they did. I'm running a DC fuse box here on the driver's side. I also have another DC fuse box on the passenger side, and from there I have fuses and outputs for various devices. I think on this side currently the only thing I have coming out of it is I have a USB outlet which I have mounted on the other side of the bed. You can't see it. So on the other side of the bed there's the USB outlet, that's the DC outlet, and then below that you can see an AC outlet which is fed from that double gang box underneath. I actually have all the AC fed off of one connector on the AC200L. I use the 30 amp connection that's provided on the AC200L, even though I'm never going to pull 30 amps because I'm, of course, basically feeding a system that's it's all 15 amp sockets. There's my DC fuse box on the passenger side. From there, I route my fan and my overhead lighting, and then I also have an under cabinet light that's coming off that fuse box. There's the under cabinet light, and there's the overhead lighting. It's a little messy right now. I haven't put my ceiling in, and I probably won't before I go to Alaska. But the wiring routes down behind the cabinetry alongside the furring strip and into the fuse box. And there's a switch under the sink on the other side, which is used to turn on the overhead lighting, as well as a dimmer switch. And there's the AC outlet, the one AC outlet on the passenger side. On the driver's side, I actually have two AC outlets, which the second one is down here. And that actually chains off of the first AC outlet on the driver's side. I use this outlet mostly for cooking because I didn't want to route my cables all the way back to way over there if I'm cooking on the lagoon table by the door. That's all I really have. Please like and subscribe if this helps you in any way. If you have any questions about connecting an AC200L to your CCP connectors on your Ford Transit, or the unusual way in which I have done my inverter for input to the AC200L, drop a comment and I'll do my best to help.